Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Sincerely Agile with Mary. Now, if you're joining us for the first time or you're watching the replay for the first time, this is the show where we promote the lean agile mindset, where we learn, unlearn, and relearn. And of course, it's a place where we want to be awesome and wholesome together. My name is Mary Lanignon. I'm an enterprise agile coach, and as always, I am your host. Now, today we're looking at imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome. Now, this, as always, is an important topic because when I think of imposter syndrome, I often wonder how many opportunities that, we have just allowed to go by. And this is not a problem that's limited to women alone. Joining me to, you know, um, discuss this topic further is Truphie Kwaka-Sumba, and she's just trying to join me. Truphie is a leadership development facilitator. She's based in Nairobi, Kenya, and it's just, a privilege to have her join me here today. I can see some people are joining already. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. I see Ronke here. You are always on time, Ronke. I see Victoria here as well. Always on time. Thank you for joining us. If you're joining us for the first time, please let us know where you're calling from. Truphie, I can see you're trying to join. You might need to use that camera after all.
Hi, Mary. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
So, yes, I'm using another camera. You may need to let me in with my other camera.
Do you want me come in. Yeah, come in.
Yeah.
I saw you just now, and then you disappeared again.
Just check on the list of the guests. I'm in with Truphie Kwaka.
No, I can only see one guest in. You can use another laptop or another device, but I can only see you. But it's okay. We saw you just now. Let's use that.
Okay. This camera, you're sure?
Yeah, of course it is.
Okay. I thought this camera is not very good, so
that's okay. It will
all right.
Okay. The content is what matters the most. People are already joining us. They can't wait to hear from you. Ronke is here from London. We have Grace Ojubo from Abuja, Nigeria. We have Stella da Silva from Oman. We have Bati Mbaruku. That must be someone from your end. Definitely.
Oh, hi. Yes. Hi, Bahati.
Someone in your network here to support you. Thank you so much, Bati, for making the time to be here. Thank you so much. And we've got Michael on there. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for making time to join us as we discuss imposter syndrome. Mm-hmm. Now, how have you been, Truphie? I mean, the last 18 months has been crazy. That's just one way to describe it. Yes. What has it been like for you on the home front, business front? How have you coped?
Mary, for me, 18 months has been something else. Let me just say that my brother was unwell, and so I was nursing him. And just the day before the first case of COVID was announced in Kenya, he passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, thank you. And but just about 10 days before that, I had also lost my sister-in-law, sister to my husband. So we had about a period where we didn't know who should condole the other and comfort the other. And of course, right with those funerals, we had COVID being announced in Kenya, and so we went into this unknown season. On one hand, we are mourning. On the other hand, we have COVID and nobody knows what it is. What you should do, you should just buy tissue paper or, stock your house with food or something. Yeah.
I'm so sorry to hear that. I mean, I lost an aunt in Chicago. I had two aunties in
Mhm,
Chicago. They were both
mhm,
nurses, on my father's side, and the older
mhm,
one,
mhm.
sadly passed away.
Oh, I'm
So
sorry.
one way or the other, directly
Yeah.
or indirectly, we have all felt this
Yes.
pandemic. We have
Yeah.
felt it
Yeah.
seriously. I have more people joining us. Let's see. Okay, Frank Ogemoyi. Hello, Frank from Abu Dhabi. Nice to have you here.
Thank
Stella
you.
is saying
Thank you,
sorry for the
Stella.
loss. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, Stella. Thank you
Mhm,
so much. Ronketu is saying sorry about your losses.
mhm,
May their souls
mhm.
rest in peace indeed. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much,
Thank you.
everyone. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Yeah.
These COVID times, we're not going to forget it in a hurry.
Mm.
Business wise, what has that been like for you this COVID period?
This has been another unknown season because on one hand, you can almost see things that could happen, possibilities, but what
Mm-hmm.
you're already in is so impacted, is so affected.
Mm,
Um, you know, um, I work at the university, and we immediately had to close, but we were right in the middle of the semester, towards the end of the semester,
mm.
and our students were preparing for exams. And so the big question was, do you take a break permanently? Do you move them online? What do you do? And how do you ensure that business continues as normal? I sit also on a board. I sit on the Longhorn Publishers Board, an independent director there. And of course, we as publishers also, because a lot of our material is educational, immediately we were impacted. So, really on every front, there was just this unknown that just came and befell us.
Absolutely. You
Mm.
know what? I have your bio. Let me
Yeah,
introduce you properly to our
sure.
audience.
Okay.
Now, Truphie Kwaka-Sumba is a seasoned leader with over 20 years in senior leadership in the education sector and as a leadership development facilitator in Africa. She currently works at St. Paul's University, Nairobi, Kenya, where she serves as the principal for the Nairobi campus. She also has extensive board director experience in the profit and non-profit sectors and is a non-executive independent director with Longhorn Publishers PLC. She runs a beauty and health business. She is an author and speaker. Her latest books, Every Leader's Battle, Experiences, Encouragement, and Lessons from 10 Leaders, and African Women's Leadership, Realities and Opportunities, a book chapter in African Christian leadership. Realities, Opportunities, and Impact. That's three books right there I just mentioned. She's a speaker and currently a PhD student in business management at Strathmore University. She is an ordained clergy with the Anglican Church of Kenya. Her mission is to build people capacities and great institutions for the transformation of Africa and the glory of God. Now, that is an awesome bio right there, Truphie. You are
Thank
welcome
you.
to
Thank
Sincerely
you.
Agile with Mary. Thank you for making the time because I know it's about 8 o'clock right now in Nairobi,
Yeah,
Kenya.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's such a privilege to have you here. So today we're looking at imposter syndrome. Now, when I think of imposter syndrome, what comes to my mind is opportunities that may have passed us by,
Mm,
opportunities that may have
mhm,
just passed us by because we just felt, you know what, this is too big for me.
mm,
Okay.
mm.
So what is imposter syndrome, Trufi? How would you define that?
Okay. Thank you, Mary, and it's a great privilege to be here. I love what you do, and so I'm really, really honored to be here. Thank you very, very
It's
much.
our pleasure to have you too.
Allow me to start with a story. I was running so many errands, and because I had been tasked by my CEO at the university to ensure that whatever function we had was top notch. And at the parking was a crisp white Land Cruiser, open with keys in the ignition. And without giving it a second thought, I got in and drove off without asking anybody any questions. And after I'd run all these errands, as I rode back into the car park, our head of security met me. and he directed me in a particular direction, which is not my normal senior leader parking. And that direction was towards the police station. And there I found traffic policemen, and I immediately knew I was under arrest for stealing
Now,
a
Truphie, is this a true story? Is this a true story?
Mary, you need to listen to this one. I got so scared, and I thought, oh my God, I'm going to be incarcerated and my reputation is destroyed. All of a sudden, I was sweaty, anxious. I couldn't believe it. How could I do this? I didn't even know what to say. And I just thought to myself, I am finished. I have been caught. I am a thief. To my joy, Mary, it was a dream. I was so glad.
I knew there must be some other direction to this.
I was so glad that I
Yeah.
dreamt that it was a dream. And for real, it was a real dream.
Good.
I actually dreamt it last year, and I woke up sweating, and I was just like, oh my God, how could I even steal a car in my dream? But that's the feeling of imposter syndrome. You feel you're a fraud, you feel you're a thief. You feel you do not belong, yet you are there, and that somebody will find you, you will be found out, and security will come and call you out and hand you over to the police. So imposter syndrome is that overwhelming unbelief or doubt on your ability or your achievements. And it is normally experienced by great achievers. And and anybody can experience it, but it just seems, at least from the research, it just seems to be more prevalent with those who are great achievers.
Great response there, and what an awesome story from your dream. And just for the benefit of our audience, also, I got this off of Google. Imposter syndrome refers to an internal experience of believing that you are not as competent as others perceive you to be.
Yeah.
And this is coming from high achievers. Now, why do you think this is coming from high achievers?
It's a good question, Mary. I think now my own experience is that, one, we underplay our own achievements. So other people will think it's great, but we will never think it's great, because perhaps for you, we think it's normal. So you see, what you may consider normal for somebody else is like, this is like out of the world. But for you, you're thinking, well, it just happened. I mean, so a lot of the times it's also because we have underplayed our own achievements. But it could also be the context in which we are in. Context plays a great role, especially if you're in a place where there's a lot of pressure to achieve. The tendency is, because the bar is always being pushed way beyond, then you sort of can fall into a place where you feel that you will never ever belong there. We've also found, research has shown that people who've grown up in families where there's a lot of pressure to achieve also tend to be prone to imposter syndrome.
It's a bit of a catch-22, isn't it? Now, as high achievers, we are always pushing the bar. Any high achiever, be you a man or a woman, we're always pushing the bar.
Yes.
So when you do things and people are going, rooting for you and, cheering you on, wow, this is amazing. You're like, really? And that is only because I feel you're even thinking like 10 levels higher than that, that you are not even there yet.
Yeah.
That is one way of looking at it. Another way is that, like you said, you're in a high pressured environment and there's constant pressure on you to push the boundaries. And that could also be the reason that you feel, could I attain that? But then again, high achievers get bored very quickly.
Yes.
if the environment is not challenging.
Mm,
So, in order to mitigate that imposter syndrome, one has to find that right balance between,
mm,
you know, trying to be a great achiever, being pushed, and all of that, all those factors playing up there. Great
mm,
response from you there. Let me just see what our audience are saying.
mm.
Um, Imposter syndrome is often self-diagnosed. Lord knows I have self-diagnosed imposter syndrome, don't we all? Yemi Odubote says, ha ha ha, oh my God, a dream. Thank God it was a dream, but it had to be anyway. And Ronke is just laughing away at your story there, I'm sure. And nice analogy, absolutely, absolutely, great one. I remember thinking that I would be deported at the airport when I used to deliver internationally. I used to dream that. Now, there's a funny dream I've had so many times. Since we're on
Okay.
the subject of dreams,
Yes.
there's a funny, should I even call it a strange dream that I've
Mhm,
had consistently in my life?
mhm,
I've probably had that dream about 10 times in my lifetime
mhm.
so far. And it is that I have missed an exam. I have overslept, and, and guess what? This is like
Mm,
our secondary school WAEC exam. We
mm,
call it
mhm,
WAEC jam.
mhm,
Sometimes it
eh,
is the West African exam I have missed.
yes.
Sometimes it is the jam exam I have missed. So I then wake up, I'm like, how can I miss? In the dream, I'm really angry with
Yes.
myself. I mean,
Yeah.
those who know me, I'm quite academic. So
Yes.
because I'm an academic person, imagine how I feel in that dream. How can
Mm.
I miss my exam? How
Yeah.
can that happen to me? And then I wake up and I'm like, Mary, you are 50 something years old. You are not taking any WAEC exam. You're a grandmother. You're not
No,
taking jump
you're
anytime
not.
soon.
It's over.
It's over. Oh, I love it. Go Nelly, watching from Kenya. Nice to
Ah,
have you,
lovely.
Isabel.
Thank you. Thank you.
When people cheer me on, I feel like, hold up, I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Yemi.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, back to our questions. So we've answered what imposter syndrome is. How do you even know you are suffering from imposter syndrome?
Let me tell you how I knew. I knew because I had a coach. So my coach helped me to discover that actually I had imposter syndrome. But generally, one of the symptoms is fear of failure. When you fear failing, you tend to hold back. And when you hold back, you miss up on opportunities that
Certainly.
could have shown your worth, could have shown your value, could have shown your abilities. How many jobs, Mary, we started off by asking ourselves, how many opportunities have we passed? Many of them, and it's simply because we had a fear. Many of them, at least my thinking is, I had a fear that I just couldn't match up to that position.
Hmm.
I've even had, opportunities, and somebody comes and says, "This describes you. Apply." And I look at it, I say, "Oh no, that's way too up there." But actually, in my silent little corner, when I look at it, I actually think, I wish I could do it. I wish I could apply. But I'm so afraid of going through an interview process and not being taken, or feeling like I'll be a fool, or being made a fool, or making myself look like a fool. So fear of failure is one great one. The other symptom that one can know that they have, or that could indicate that somebody could be having an imposter syndrome, is avoiding extra responsibility.
Hmm.
The truth is, for you to grow, you will have to accept extra responsibility. Majority of those responsibilities are way things above your capability, but that is how you stretch your abilities. That is how you stretch your capabilities to be able to do more. Now, when you find yourself avoiding extra responsibility, always declining that extra ask, that could be an indication or a symptom of imposter syndrome. And then just that also inability to appreciate one's value. You're told, you really did well, and my God, you are amazing. And you say, oh no, you're just saying it, or no, I'm not. I think I stink. Or, you always want to downplay
Really.
your abilities. That's an indication, because you're not here is somebody saying to you, you do that very well, but somehow you don't see that it's actually a nice thing, and so you begin to downplay it. You even begin to water it down and look for the faults in that whole thing. And then also, of course, perfectionism is a major symptom, where you're always looking for, this is not right, this is not right, this is not right. I mean, and it doesn't mean that we should not pursue excellence, but I think what this says to us, we should not be driven by a pursuit of perfectionism to the extent that even when something is good, you do not see the good in it. I think those would be some of the ones top I would say.
And those are great ones. When we don't take responsibility, that could be a
Mm,
sign that we're
mm,
suffering from imposter
mm,
syndrome.
mm.
And talking about downplaying, I think most of us are guilty of that. I have definitely been very, very guilty of that.
Yeah, yeah.
But with age and maturity, I've learned to balance humility
Mm,
with accepting,
mm.
praises, if you like, because I
Yeah,
think that is where that comes from. We're trying to be humble, right?
yeah.
We're trying
Mm,
not to be arrogant,
yeah.
but you have to find that right balance between being humble and,
Mm,
feeling good about someone praising
yeah,
you.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
because after all, you have done a great thing. You have
yeah,
burnt the midnight oil. I mean,
yeah.
look, I have invited you here to this show.
Mm,
I'm not paying you a dime. You're
mhm,
investing time,
mhm,
and you would have spent maybe an hour or two preparing for
mhm.
this.
Yeah,
Do you see what I
yeah,
mean? So
yeah,
a lot
yeah.
of effort goes
Mm,
into what we do. So when
mm.
people come and say, "Great show, well done, Truphie," we should say, "Oh,
Yeah,
thank you." Not,
yeah,
did I do well? Was it
yeah,
good? Which we
yeah,
tend to do.
yeah,
I'm guilty. I was guilty of it a lot.
yeah,
Probably
yeah,
still I'm guilty of it, because you just that, not trying to be, trying to be humble. But in
yeah.
trying to be humble, sometimes I think we downplay our achievements. Now, talking
Mm,
about fear, that is so important.
mm.
Fear will always be there. Do you know,
Yeah.
this is what I say. If you have a mission or if you have a vision and your stomach does not churn,
Mm.
if your
Yeah,
stomach does not churn,
yeah,
then that vision is not audacious enough.
yeah, yeah.
It is not audacious enough.
True, true.
It is not audacious enough, because
Mm-hmm.
you see, that fear is the fear coming from, this is going to be successful.
Mm,
This is going to be big. This is going to demand of me. That is
mm.
where that churn is coming from. So,
Yeah,
fear is good, is what I'm trying to say.
yeah,
Fear is not always a bad thing. When I started Sincerely Agile with Mary, it wasn't
yeah.
without fear,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but it was me stepping out,
Yeah.
putting myself out there. I've said this before. Courage in spite of the fear,
Mm,
because I have always wanted to do this. I am
mm.
someone who believes in sharing knowledge.
Yeah.
Now, imagine what that fear would have robbed me of if I let it
Yes.
win.
Mm.
This
Yeah.
show has been on since January. You are, I think, our 27th guest now. I
Yeah.
can't even begin to tell you people who have reached out to me to say, "Mary, you just keep inspiring us. Your
Yeah.
guests are just amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
look at what you're doing already today.
Mhm.
This is just amazing. Thank you so much,
Mm.
Truphie."
Mm.
Now, we've got more comments coming from our guests. This is just so important. So, so, so important. Um, Mary, I beg, you don't need to dream about how to make money. You pass all your exams. She's speaking pidgin English there. Stella, you just cracked me up. That's just funny. I passed all my exams and I'm still passing them by the grace of God. I have 4 certifications to take in the next 5 weeks. Four
Wow.
certifications.
4.
Well, when you're a consultant, it never ends, does it?
True.
It never
True.
ends.
You have to keep learning.
It
It's
never
continuous
ends.
learning. Yeah.
So, and that's what I tell my mentees. Once you get on this journey with me, it never ends. So be ready and
Yes.
brace yourself. Fear of
Yes.
letting other people down is also a big one.
Mm.
Absolutely, Stella.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I can just imagine if someone invited me to a show, I mean, which they have done. A gentleman reached out to me on LinkedIn and invited me to his show. He wanted me to come and talk on agile marketing.
Mm.
And of course, I kept studying and doing some more research because this was even now more marketing specific. Because he had reached out to me.
Mm.
He
Yeah.
must have, put some kind of, status around me, around,
Yes.
agile and marketing
Yes.
and all of that. And
Yeah.
definitely, Stella, the fear of letting him down was there.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was there. So I really don't think the imposter syndrome thing is going anywhere because, like you said, it is about not disappointing people.
Yeah.
It is it is about trying to do things properly. So
Mm.
for as
Mm.
long as you fall in that category, I think we will
Yes.
always feel that way. What do you think,
Yeah.
Truphie?
I think so. And I think it's a good thing also
Mm,
because it does keep you on your toe. I think where it's a problem is when it
mhm,
becomes obsessive to
mhm,
stop you from moving on. But where but I think there should be a point in which it propels you to be
mhm.
a better self. It
Absolutely.
propels you to go to the next level so
It
that you're
does.
not settling for less, but you're saying, look, I've got to push this. But I think the thin line for me is where you wait for the perfect condition. That I think is the problem,
Yeah.
where if you wait for the perfect condition, that hinders you from making progress. But
Mm,
if you say, look, I'll take it as it is, I'll learn from it, and give me another opportunity, I'll have pushed the bar higher.
that's it.
I think that that's important.
So important. And that is exactly what Stella is saying here. That's
Mm.
exactly what she's saying. And I have Sunita trying to please everyone.
Yes,
That can also be part of it because you're
yes.
just pushing yourself, trying to please everyone. We need
And
to
trying
find
to
a
be
balance.
perfect, and
Trying to
trying
be
to be
perfect.
perfect. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yemi says, ever since I learned how to change from I think I am great from I know I am great, it helped me to keep
Ah,
moving confidently. I am in sync with the speaker. Absolutely. We really
thank
need
you.
to, be able to praise ourselves. We really
Mm.
need to occasionally give ourselves a pat in the back. Take, for
Yes.
example,
Mhm,
about 5 years ago, to be
mhm,
precise, I decided to take my training online, totally
mhm,
online, okay?
mhm,
Because I'm everywhere, right?
mhm,
I
mhm,
have, mentees all over the place. So I decided, you
mhm,
know what? I'm really going to make this an online thing. This was 5 years
mhm,
ago. Now
mhm.
look at what happened with COVID last year.
Yeah.
I mean, when people started hearing about
Mm.
Zoom,
Yes.
I had been using Zoom for four
Yeah.
years.
Yes.
Okay. So
Wow.
I sat
Wow.
down one day. Yeah, I've been using
Mhm.
Zoom since 2015. So
Yes.
I sat down one day and I thought, Mary, you've done well.
Mm.
I looked at myself in the mirror. I said,
Yeah.
give yourself a pat in the back. And do you know
Yeah.
why I did that? I did
Yeah.
it intentionally because
Mm.
I do something, I don't even, bask in it. I'm going to the next one
Yes.
and the next
Yes.
one and the next
Yes.
one. So
Yeah.
when COVID hit, it then
Mm.
hit me that, you know what? You are a visionary in your own little way.
Yes. Yes.
That in my own little way, I am a
Yeah.
visionary person.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
felt good.
Mm. Mhm.
I'm sure I did a post about it or something.
Yeah.
Because when everybody started rushing online, I'm like, Mary, you're already there.
Yeah.
You're already
Yeah.
there. Your
Yeah.
business is
Yeah.
already digital.
Yes.
So we really
Wow.
need to give ourselves a
Yeah.
pat on the back every
And
now and
and
again.
and Mary, let me
Yeah.
interject. You- I was just thinking about it, about how, what you're saying, we tend to run from one thing to another. Eventually, we burn out. And the reason we burn out is because we are always chasing as an illusion somewhere. And because we never get it, we eventually just get to a point where we are exhausted. But I think, like what you're saying, if we took time to pause and to enjoy the moment, it would actually refresh us, because you would
Yes.
feel, I've made an achievement, I've done
Yes.
something,
Yeah.
and it gives you the impetus to actually move on to something else.
Absolutely. It does. It does. Absolutely. I mean, for example, talking about doing too much, sometimes we also need to know how to balance these things.
Yes.
So, for example,
Yes.
I take on new mentees every 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
I've decided this summer, I'm not taking on any new batch. I'm
Mm,
going to start again in October. Now, as a
mm,
professional, as an agilist, we also, as human beings, we also need to know that we need to replenish our bodies. We
mm.
also, especially when you're in the knowledge space, you need to
Yes.
rest the brain as well.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
talking about that balance, I have definitely said, you know what, this summer I'm taking a break.
Uh-huh.
So that's also quite important.
Mm,
Now,
mm.
there is a healthy fear. Yeah, there's healthy fear and unhealthy
Yes.
fear. We need to strike a balance between both. Absolutely, Stella.
Yeah.
Because you could have the fear where you just never start.
Mm,
You just never start. And I like what you said earlier on, Truphie, that
mhm,
we have a lot to give. And
mm.
we should not let imposter syndrome deny us of that. Because
Yeah.
when that happens, we are denied. The
Mhm.
world is also denied of what you
Yes.
could, otherwise have
Yes.
imparted to the world.
Yeah.
And I
Definitely.
often like to use an analogy that
Mm,
we might be in the house
mm,
and we are afraid to step out into the balcony. We feel
mm,
very
mm.
safe in the house
Yes.
because
Yes.
when we step out into the
Yeah.
balcony, we are exposed. We are
Yes.
we are under scrutiny.
Mhm.
Okay, it's like you're under the microscope. Okay, I
Mm,
mean, look
mm.
at what we're doing right now. I mean, anybody can see what we're doing right now,
Yeah.
and we can be judged for good or for bad. So you are out there under the microscope, but you have to balance that fear, just like Stella is
Mm,
saying.
mm,
Otherwise, you
mm,
could be denying yourself
mm.
and denying the world what you are
Yes.
capable of adding,
Of.
the value that you are capable of adding to the world, and doing just that little bit from your end.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, why? Trying to be humble, we don't play we don't play ourselves. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There are some Nigerian nuances there because I have Yemi is
Okay.
Nigerian, Stella is
Uh,
Nigerian, so there are some Nigerian nuances in their comments.
okay.
So back to our questions. Okay. Now, imposter syndrome is not gender specific,
Mhm.
but is it more common with women?
Actually, I read an article. Harvard Business Review said you should stop saying it's more common with women. you know, um, is it more common with women? I
I'm
really,
sure you know. I'm sure you know why I'm asking that.
yeah,
I'm
yes,
sure you know why I'm asking that. If you look at the
yeah,
political space,
yes,
if you look at the top echelon,
mm,
okay,
mm,
do you see what I mean? That's
yeah,
why I'm asking.
yes. Is it more common? I think the let me say that the research that has been done, this is where we become academic. The research has been done has shown that the respondents who have given, have responded to it have been more women. So there could be an over-reporting there based on statistics, and that's why I was saying that there's a Harvard Business Review article that actually says we should stop reporting it as a syndrome that's more prevalent among women, because of the other contextual issues that are there. So, for example, the fact that it's a prevalent among women could be because women tend to be a minority when you're looking at great achievers or at certain echelons, especially the upper echelons, like what
Mhm.
you're saying in the political space. If you're looking in the corporate boardroom, women are fewer. As you go up the ladder, women are fewer. And that is across, whether irrespective of the sector, women are fewer. I can tell you for a fact, even at my own university, as you go up, we become very few. And so what has happened is with imposter syndrome, it's been found that anybody who's in a minority group will be more inclined or more prone to imposter syndrome. And you can understand why. It's because they are a minority. They therefore do not have that affirmation that you can find within a group to show
Mm.
that you're actually among the normal people. So you're not among the 60%. If you're to look at a normal curve, you're actually in the
Mm.
20%. And that in itself can be very unnerving, because there'll be a certain disposition, a certain language or body language that you will have that is not part of the majority. So I think the idea that it's not women per se, but really we're looking at minority groups.
Mm.
Minority groups. So if women are a minority group within a certain space, then
Yeah.
yes, then they would be prone, but not because they are women, but it's
Mm.
because they're a minority group.
Okay. Um, what are the causes of imposter syndrome? I know you've touched on this a little bit.
Mhm. I'll fall back to the research that has been done, and
Mm.
of course, the first one is your childhood, how
Mm.
you were brought up.
Mm.
So people who grow up in families that have an emphasis on high achievement with extreme praise or extreme criticism tend to develop imposter syndrome. Now, remember, the parents are innocent. They are doing their best. They want their children to achieve. And you know what? Majority of parents, I'm a parent, I'm a mother of four. When I look at my children, I think they are great. I think they have such great potential. They are the movers and the shakers of the world. And I want to experience that from birth. I want to see it. So the tendency for me, therefore, is to put a lot of pressure on
Mm.
them to be that great achiever from
Yeah.
birth. I
Mm.
want them to walk early. I want them to dress. I want them to sleep the whole night from day one. I mean, I want them to be, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that puts undue pressure on children and it moves into their adulthood. The other bit would be, like we said earlier, of course, we said being in a minority group makes you more prone. The other bit is intolerant corporate cultures, especially if you have a corporate culture that tends to favor people um, um, and make them so different by way of pay and promotion. The tendency is that if you're not part of the in group, maybe
Mm.
to have an imposter syndrome. There's nothing wrong with rewarding people at work. We all want performance driven cultures.
Yeah.
But the challenge is, if that creates an in group and an out group, you automatically are sending a different message, and the messaging could then, give an imposter syndrome. If I find myself in the in group, let me give that example. Automatically, I have a lot of pressure to try and keep up with the in group. If I'm part of the bonus people, the paid people, the promotion, the holidays, the tendency is I'll have undue pressure on me. And that in a way, sometimes you just feel like I really then don't belong here. And we
Mm.
do know of people who have resigned from very well paying jobs, not because they were sacked or anything like that, but they just reached a point and they felt they couldn't hack the pressure.
Wow. Wow. And talking about performance driven culture,
Mhm, mhm.
that is okay, but it is
Yes,
how we do it. It
exactly.
is how we do it. And I like
Yes.
what is happening in the agile space today.
Mhm,
We're looking at, instead of, rewarding
mhm,
individuals, we're
mhm,
looking at rewarding teams.
mm,
So that's to some extent will, minimize the chances that bad behavior or bad practices may be rewarded. But I
mm,
think
mhm,
in the process of trying to solve that problem, it can
mm,
also help reduce this imposter syndrome from happening to anyone, quite frankly. Yeah, great, great response there. I like
mm,
that.
mhm.
And let's see, we've got more comments. Let me scroll down. Okay. I am a fan of celebrating every small wins. It is good for our mental health. I
Yes.
celebrate you, Ma. Thank you very much, Yemi. You see
Yes.
this young man here. Let me tell you very quickly about him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I met him on LinkedIn. I
Wow.
met him on LinkedIn. He, puts out great content out
Mm-hmm.
there. He
Mm-hmm.
promotes mental health. As you can see, he's just talked about
Loudly.
mental health.
Yes.
He promotes mental health. He
Mm-hmm.
works with Nigerian youths, and he's
Wow.
just out there to help, the youths, see themselves in a positive light and aim for the stars. So
Wow.
that's how I met Yemi. I met him
Yes.
on LinkedIn. So when I
Yes.
went to Nigeria, I paid him a visit. We had lunch together.
Wow.
So he's just an
Wow.
amazing young man. Amazing young man.
Yeah.
Always
Wonderful.
here when
Well
you can.
done.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Let's see what else we have here. Well, thank you very much, Bahati. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And,
Stella says self-affirmation is key. Me too. I'm perfectly imperfect, and I'm okay
mhm,
with that.
mhm.
Absolutely, absolutely. Betty says, I hear men apply for those bigger jobs with less qualifications. Okay, that
Yes.
is an interesting one.
Yes.
Now, how come that is happening? Now, I have my own, you know,
Yeah.
story about this, or how I feel about this.
Mhm,
Now, women, for the most part, I mean, this is
mhm,
my own perception.
mhm,
Women get married
mhm,
and we minimize our network. I know
mhm,
I did. I don't know about you, Truphie, but I know
mhm,
I did.
mhm,
When I say we come out of our network, our
mhm,
family lives take over,
mhm.
husband,
Yeah.
children,
Yeah.
home front, all your university friends. Maybe you had like a
Mm.
hundred friends. You
Yes.
hardly see 10 of them today because you are a
Mm.
married woman now with children and
Yeah.
responsibility on the home front.
Mhm,
Okay, hold that thought for a minute.
mm,
The men, on the other hand,
mhm.
they kept their network.
Yes.
They are meeting every Friday. The ones
Mhm.
that go to the beer parlor go to the beer parlor. The
Yeah.
ones that play tennis together continue to play their tennis. They meet each
Mhm.
other in the barber's shop. They are
Yes.
networking away. They talk about football. They've never met
Mm.
each other sometimes. They meet
Yeah.
each other at the barber's shop. Hello, football
Mm.
is on. They are meeting again next Friday for another football match. Now, I have entered hairdressing salons and I have said,
Mm.
Good morning, ladies. Nobody
Yeah.
answered.
Yeah.
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 And I've
Yeah.
had to say, ladies, I'm saying good morning.
Yeah.
I'm saying good afternoon, whatever the case may be. I don't know if you've experienced it.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
sometimes in our space as women,
Mm.
that poor networking is a barrier.
Mm. Mhm.
Because these men are getting the job sometimes because of the network they belong
What?
to.
Mhm.
This is my analysis. I don't need anybody to agree with me. This is just my analysis. And
Yeah.
this is a conversation I have had with other women, and they're like,
Mhm.
yes,
Mm.
I can categorically tell you that it's only in the last few years that I've
Mm.
started connecting with old friends. Some I haven't seen for 30
Mm.
years, some I haven't
Mhm.
seen for 35 years. I don't know if that's the same with you, but trust me, it is very common amongst
Mm.
us women. So that
Mm.
networking helps the men also. I mean,
Mm.
some deals are started and finished on the golf
Yeah.
course.
True. True.
Started and finished on the golf
Mm.
course. So
Mm.
don't be surprised that we still don't make the right percentage,
Mm.
at
Mm.
the C level. That again, that's my analysis. Okay, what do you have to say to that, though, Shufi?
My thought there also, Mary, was yes, definitely when we get married and have children,
Yeah.
you sort of you join a different network,
Mm-hmm.
and perhaps the purpose of that network is not career. Many
Mm-hmm.
times what I find is your network at that point becomes children, marriage, home, and all the things around that. So
Mm-hmm.
you then may lose that cutting edge for the career and the workplace. But let me also say this: as women, we are very analytical,
Yeah.
and the challenge of the analytic of that is we overanalyze
Mm-hmm.
the job description, the job specification put out. So you see a job and you look at it and you find, oh my goodness, out of all these qualifications, I am missing three, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So a man will think, oh, well, three only I qualify, or I'm overqualified, so I'll apply for it. But a woman will think, no, these three are critical, so I won't even bother applying, without
Mm-hmm.
thinking that, when you put out a job specification, you do not always um, you're not always looking for, at least as from an interview panel, you're not
Yeah.
always looking for someone who will tick all the boxes. You're
Mm-hmm.
looking for somebody who's got the potential to
Mm-hmm.
carry out and execute that job, knowing fully well that there are bits of it that they will have to learn on the job. I mean, and if they can do everything, then they shouldn't be applying for that job. They should be going for the next job. And so those would be some of the things. I think we overanalyze.
Yeah.
I am super. I tell you, I suffer from paralysis by analysis.
Analysis paralysis. Yeah,
Yes.
I do that too sometimes.
Mm, mm, mm.
Stella here says women tend to have different priorities, which influences professional and personal decisions.
True.
Absolutely. There's no
Yeah.
doubt about that. And that's why I brought it
Mm,
up. Because the pressure of the home front or the responsibilities of the home front,
yeah.
I mean, traditionally and still ongoing, falls on us most of the time.
Yeah.
And for
Hmm.
some of us, some people even leave their careers.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah. Yeah.
women stop their
Definitely.
careers. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a topic for another day. Whether,
Mm,
how can we better balance it? Should we always stop
yeah.
our careers? I mean, for some, that is what they want to do. Some people
Yeah.
may look back in regret. Some people may
Yeah.
think, I wish I never stopped my career,
Mm,
things
mm,
like that.
mm.
Anyway, a topic for another day. But that is a very good point, Stella. Very, very good point. I love your mindset, Matrufi. That's it. Great mindset.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
why
you.
she's on the show.
Thank you.
Analysis
I-
paralysis. We all do it from time to time.
yes.
We all do it from time to
Mhm.
time. Okay, I think I have just one more question for you.
Mhm.
I don't. How can we stop feeling like an imposter?
Oh my, this is a good one. Number one, talk to a coach. Coaching helps you in an amazing way. You need to get a coach because the coach helps you to navigate what you're feeling, what you're sensing, and why, and helps lead you out of it. So you're able to draw for yourself a roadmap of away from it, because you clarify for yourself where you should be going and how you will get there. So number one is talk to a coach. As I said, for me, talking to a coach helped me. It sorted me out. I laughed so much in that coaching session. I laughed and laughed and laughed. I was just like, in fact, I said, oh my God, I've been found out. It's more like my dream again.
Mhm.
So that would be my number one. But number two, I think I can't remember whether it was Yemi or who said, you need to celebrate the small wins. Celebrate the small wins. When you have this achievement, take yourself out. I take myself out. I go and sit and just have myself that nice cake. I
Mm.
love cake. I
Yeah.
know you'll be saying, oh no. I said, no, no, it's celebration time. I'll
Mm.
go and treat myself, or I'll say, today I'm going off to do my nails or whatever. But treat yourself. Do something that you really enjoy after
Mm.
you have achieved something. It
That's
will
true.
always help you. Number
Mm.
three, when people praise you, don't um don't doubt them. Don't water it down, and don't make it look like it wasn't a big deal. Appreciate it. Say thank you. I appreciate that. Or I give God the glory, or whatever you say, but don't demean it.
Mm.
Don't demean it, because
Mm.
when you do, they also feel, you feel bad. If I come and I say, Mary, you look gorgeous, and then you say, oh no, Truphie, it's nothing really, it makes me feel bad because I truly wanted to say so. Now,
Say so.
if I
Yeah.
didn't mean it, if I didn't mean it and I told you, it's too
Mm.
bad. You
Mm.
still enjoy it,
Exactly.
because
Exactly.
don't wait to be feeling whether I am true or not. You enjoy the moment. The other
True.
thing is, keep a record of your
Mm.
achievements, and keep a record of the things that people say you do well. When I take somebody for coaching, and some of the questions you can ask is, I ask somebody, what are some of the things that people have praised you for, or have said you do very, very well? And because we need you to take stock, because that's part of your self-awareness. You
Mm-hmm.
must be self-aware. So what are some of the things people have said you really do well? And the truth is, many people struggle. to say those things
Hmm.
because we have been conditioned to think that it is pride. No, it's not pride. You're actually just saying what
Hmm.
people have said.
Hmm.
So if people have said, look, you're gorgeous, you are gorgeous, that was in their eyes. Appreciate that. Take stock. I journal as a
Hmm.
practice. I journal because it helps me with my emotions, it helps me with
Yeah.
my thoughts, it helps me
Yeah.
to clarify.
Yeah.
And so when I journal,
Yeah.
I also journal good experiences. So if somebody
Yeah.
says, when you did that, it really was good, I'll journal that.
Mm.
And
Mm-hmm.
and and the reason why this is important is because research has shown that
Mm-hmm.
whenever you're given a new task to do,
Mm-hmm.
and you draw from your best experiences or from the things that people have said you do well, the
Mm-hmm.
tendency is that you give yourself a winner's mindset. And when you have a winner's mindset, you actually go ahead to do it well. And normally it's because you're drawing from people having told you, you speak well, you dress well, you're very kind. It may not necessarily be the task at hand, but the fact that you have done some good things or you have had some good fasts tells you that even though this is a fast, it could turn out very well. And then the
Wow.
other one is to appreciate nobody is perfect. And there is no perfect condition. What you have is what you've got. You've got, deal with it, work
Hmm.
with what you have. So don't wait for perfection, just go on ahead and do and deal with what you have. And then finally, this one, you've got to silence your inner critic.
Hmm.
Everybody has an inner critic that talks to us and says you're not good, not perfect condition. I mean, there are all sorts of
Mine.
reasons why you should not do that. In fact,
Yeah.
it's been shown that the writer's block is normally also because of the inner critic. You're starting to write, and what happens? You start to edit. What and the what you need to do rather to
Yeah.
reverse that is that when you're writing, for example, just write, don't edit, don't
Hmm.
correct, don't even do typos. Just let your mind free flow,
Flow.
flow, and then leave it, and then
Hmm.
come now and do editing. Because when you do that, then you get used to the idea that
Yeah.
you are supposed to be in an iterative process. You
Hmm.
do, you correct, you
Hmm.
do, you correct, but you don't you don't do correct, do correct, do correct. No, you go through a whole process of
Hmm.
always going through a process of doing something, completing it, and then
Mm-hmm.
going through it again to repeat
Mm-hmm.
it or to correct it so that you're not stopping
Hmm.
your creative juices from flowing.
From Flo. Quick question from Patsy here. Won't pride creep in?
Won't pride creep in? Why should it? Oh, and at
Hmm.
which point, Bahati? By the way, a big shout out to Bahati. Thank you for joining. At what point, Bahati, do you mean? You mean at the point of celebrating your achievements?
Praises when people are praising you and
Oh,
you're
okay.
talking about your achievements.
I don't think so. I think you just need to keep it in perspective, and I'll say why. It's to realize that you are very, very fortunate. You're very blessed with what you have. And it doesn't mean that you did it all by yourself. At least that's what I think. I always
Hmm.
sit and say, I'm so grateful that I have this blessing. God has helped me to be here. I have also put in some effort, and I
Mm-hmm.
am grateful that I could even
Yeah.
have the effort to do it and the time to do it. So it's really
Exactly.
just being realistic with what you have. Well done,
And we should
Stella.
enjoy it. Yes, well done,
Mm.
Stella. And because I've been stuck at home a lot, I also wanted to treat myself the other day. I bought myself a shoe. There
Yeah.
was this shoe I
Oh,
saw.
yeah.
I clicked on it. I went again. I said, "Well, why are you buying a shoe? You're not going anywhere." I thought,
Yeah.
you know what? I'll buy it anyway, just to say, "Well done, Mary." And I did.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
still haven't worn
Well done.
it.
And I love shoes. I wish I was with you.
Now we have Yemi says, how can I help young people deal with imposter syndrome? Getting started and to keep moving are major challenges. We've got 6 minutes.
Mhm.
Can you
I
respond
think,
to that?
yeah, Yemi, I think it's just for you to help them, especially for young people, it's just to
Mm,
help them get over fear and to help them see that everybody fears. There is nobody, whether it's Richard Branson, it doesn't matter who it is. Everybody fears. Everybody goes through fear. But what the difference is to realize that there is something greater than fear.
mm,
You know, if you accept fear, you will remain in exactly the same position in life. But if you accept that there is something greater, better than fear, you will step out and say, let whatever be, be. Let's find out at the front. Yeah.
mm. Barty said, I started late, but no regrets. Some people start family late too. There's no formula, but the world is cruel to late starters. Late starters in what sense? Career or family? Late starters in what sense in particular? Let us know, Barty. Let us know what, late starter in what sense exactly you meant. Stella says, I've lost count how many times I've had to say, don't overthink things. Absolutely. Analysis paralysis,
I, I
it's
tell
a
you.
terrible thing, and we all do it sometimes. But again,
Mm,
sometimes it's all about trying to be perfect. But you know what?
mm,
One of the things my agile mindset has also helped me to do
mm,
is to just get on with it. Because in the
mm,
agile space, what we say is that we
mm,
don't want analysis paralysis. And you
mm.
can never achieve perfection. So
Yes,
why don't you
yes.
just start? More
Yeah.
importantly,
Hmm.
start,
Yes,
get feedback, and learn
yes.
and
Yeah,
iterate on it.
yeah,
Iterate on it because look, in the business
yes,
world, especially today, as a
yeah,
business person, if you're waiting and engaging in analysis paralysis, your competitors will
yes,
be behind, right?
yes,
So, is
definitely.
it a product? Is it a
Mm,
service? Put it
hmm.
out there. I mean, of course, it can't be rubbish. It has to be something that
Yes,
makes sense, but it doesn't have to be perfect. Put it
yeah.
out there, get feedback, iterate on it,
Mm,
know that
yes,
you're out there to learn. And this is where I like
yeah.
what I put down here says, develop a healthy response to failure. Because failure is
Mm,
actually feedback.
good one. Hmm.
Failure is feedback. These are one of the ways that we
Mm,
can try and fix
hmm.
imposter syndrome. Having a
Yeah,
healthy response to failure. Also, I
yeah.
have here separate feelings from fact. What
Hmm.
are the facts? What are you
Yeah.
feeling? But what are the facts?
Mm,
Okay,
mm,
I'm feeling I've got to go show up for something tomorrow, and
mm,
I'm having a bit of an imposter syndrome. But hey,
hmm.
I've been preparing for the last 3 days for it. I've woken up
Yeah.
every day. I've done my research. Those are
Yes.
facts. And that
Yes.
fact should give me some energy to say,
Mm,
Mary, you're ready for this. You've got
mm.
this, girl. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure we
Yeah.
all talk to ourselves in the mirror. I do that a lot, talking to
Yeah.
myself in the mirror to say, you know what, you can do this, go for it. You're ready, you're good. This is
Mm.
when analysis paralysis wants to kick in.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I hope I'm not the only woman here who talks to herself in the mirror. I hope I'm not the only one.
Everybody must have a conference with themselves.
Exactly. And I have here again late starter in family, okay, or late starter in career. There is no formula, okay, but you have answered this. God's time is perfect.
Mm.
Absolutely. We aren't we aren't late on his clock. Absolutely. He's always on time as well with us, isn't it? He's always on time.
Mm-hmm.
Tiabo, never stop trying, never stop getting up, and appreciate
Mm-hmm.
everything learned or experienced. Very good talk. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Mm-hmm.
What else have we got here? I always like to carry our audience along. I bought a pair of shoes and matching bag. Ooh, I'm
Wow,
self-appreciating, ladies.
Stella.
Yes, so yes, so. And we are coming close to the hour now, but I just want to highlight some more comments here. There you go, Ronke. Now, Ronke is one of my mentees. She's learning
Yes.
agile. And what she's
Wonderful.
saying here is an agile speak. Stop
Mm.
starting, start finishing. Go, Ronke. Go,
Wow.
agile. And she says again, I critique too much. Thank you for that revelation. This has
Mm.
been an amazing, amazing, amazing evening with you, Truphie. I cannot thank
Thank
you
you.
enough. I think I have um, amplified all our responses, separate feeling
Mm.
from fact, absolutely, and develop the right response to failure,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. We are just coming to the end of the hour. To my
Mm.
guests, thank you so much for being here. I
Thank
can't
you.
even thank you enough. People who show up here every Sunday, I
Mm.
really, I'm just grateful. I'm just grateful. To you, Truphie, for making the time to invest your Sunday evening with us here. We are so grateful. And you know what? You have given me a reason to visit Nairobi. Now I have a friend
Please.
in Nairobi.
Yes.
You have
Yes.
given me a reason to visit Nairobi, and I will. I will visit
I
Nairobi. I'm
am
saying
I
that
am looking
publicly, and
forward.
I will.
Yes, I am looking forward.
Thank you so much. It has been an awesome
Thank you.
evening. Thank you to our viewers. Thank you to everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a wonderful evening. It's amazing how quickly the hour goes by when you're having
Yes.
fun, isn't it?
Yes.
Thank you,
Yes.
Truphie. I'll see you backstage. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Have a great week, everybody.